welcome back to Gotta Be Me podcast. We're so happy to be here again with you today. We're your hosts. My name is Sophia. This is my cousin Payton and my sister Camille.
Welcome back to our channel, everybody. If you're new here, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate it very much.
We are so stirred in our souls. That's such a joke on language, but we are so we're so bothered by what's going on in Chicago, and I think it's especially because Payton actually lives there. So I'm going to give it away to her. Like, I want her to just kind of express what it's been feeling like to be that connected to what's going on. But she sends us stuff, and we're like, let's have a conversation about it.
Absolutely. I felt like it was going to be necessary for us to say something about it just because I feel like it's something that we should be paying attention to, and it's something that people should be aware of. So just being there and being connected to it, I have not been downtown. I kind of stayed away from it. But I have friends that have been down there sending us videos like, hey, we were down there. We saw the brutality. We saw the violence and different things like that. Have been really unsettling, and just seeing videos from like the block that my church is on, right? Like we're in Brighton Park, and I'm like,
You should tell everyone, like, but what exactly you're referring to. You haven't talked about that.
I
like,
just
it's
think
Chicago.
I'm continuing. Yeah. So because we literally have been talking about this for the past 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
actually,
I feel like,
since yesterday. So.
Yeah. So I feel like you're just entering into conversation. So we're talking about the federal agents being deployed into Chicago, or being sent into Chicago to enforce immigration laws and all those different sorts of things, and just watching the effects of that. I know my dad, he's a school teacher in Franklin Park, right? And he has like a lot of his children staying home from school, right? One of the children's uncles got murdered in one of the confrontations down there. And then other than that, it's just been looking at a lot of footage and watching that every day. And I just feel like it's not right, and it is to be talked about. We were going to play a couple of videos and then kind of talk about what our opinions are on it. Now, obviously, we're not claiming to be God out here and know all the facts, but we're just basically going to give you what our understanding from what we've seen is and what we feel is our Christian duty to talk about. So, go ahead. Let's play the first video. So the first video, this one was just kind of shocking to me, because it was just like, okay, there's people marching through the neighborhood, and it's literally like an army. It's like, this is really disconcerting. It's a war zone. So that was really disconcerting. It's just like,
Why does the caption say they're targeting African Americans?
I don't know what all the captions are for, but I do know there was a building where kind of like everybody was just taken out. Blacks, Latinos, and then they were all like zip tied outside, right? And then questions were asked later, right? So this is just a video.
That is a lot of people.
Kind of.
I saw another video recently of the agents in downtown, like walking across the bridge.
Yeah.
And like the whole bridge was full of agents. Like, it's a lot of people.
It's just like the mass amount of people that are being sent down there is kind of disturbing. It makes it feel like,
what is going on? Yeah.
What is going on? So I think part of that is just really disturbing to me. Like, you just sent an entire army down here. And I think if you watch any of the videos of like protesters and different things like that, now obviously there's some cases where like I understand people could be
They get out of hand.
and out of hand. But like from the video, so there's probably obviously some of that going on, and obviously they are heckling, right? But we do have a right to protest, so you actually need to have a better hold of your emotions, right? And it's just women and like overuse of brutality and overuse. Like, I saw a woman get like thrown across the street, and I was just like, okay, so basically she just said something you didn't like, and you like. How does that happen?
And obviously I'm not there, but just the footage I've been seeing, right, has been like, it's just been like too much. Like, what did you have to like pick her up and slam her into the vehicle, you know, or did you have to like force them down and kneel 3 people on them to like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I understand. Like, people aren't being trained well. Like, how can you not? Like, in second, yeah, keep going.
No, the thing is, it seems like there's one way that you might treat a dangerous criminal, when you need to go arrest them, like you finally find them, you catch them, and it's like, hey, get them down. Like you never know what they're gonna do. You never know if they're gonna hurt somebody. So you're trying to use force. But I don't, as far as I can tell, that's not what that's not what a lot of these arrests are.
Yeah.
Like it seems like maybe there was some point where they were mainly looking for dangerous criminals, and maybe that's not true. But it seemed like at first that was that was the rhetoric,
they were
right?
saying, right? And now it's like, okay, I saw these like 16, 17-year-old kids getting stopped like on the way home from school, and apparently like, I was looking up stuff, and I was like, when can an ICE agent stop someone, and when can they not? When is it unconstitutional? And it was like, okay, they need a warrant to be able to get into a house, or they have to have verbal consent, right? So there's been a lot of like around my school, there's been tons of flyers, right? Like you do not have to answer questions to an ICE agent. You know, right? They're passing out flyers at school and different stuff like that. I know Titus, one of his college friends, her apartment complex got raided. So it's like, this is really close to home. It's just like, this is kind of crazy. I feel like I was saying something before that. Oh, the 16-year-old children that are getting pulled over, and they're like, give your ID. And it's like, they don't have to do that. And there seems like there is some force involved when like you shouldn't be allowed to do that. You can't force someone to give your ID. Also, I think this is not allowed anymore, but arresting people at courthouse is like, okay, you're not
that
looking,
footage was really
you
sad.
are not looking for criminals. Personal opinion, right? Like you're not looking for criminals. These people they're already in a courthouse. So it's like
they're actually trying to do the right thing.
Yeah. And also if the rhetoric's like, we're trying to save money, it's like, no, we're not, because it costs a lot of money to send these people over here. I love the Chicago restaurants are so funny.
There's literally like 1,000 some restaurants in that area, and they're all refusing to serve them at all. Let them use their restrooms, serve them any food, which I'm not saying that that's going to fix the problem. Obviously, it's not. But they're just trying to do whatever they can to peaceably show, like, no, we're not supporting
We don't
this.
appreciate
and
you being
also
here.
the fact that they're all wearing masks, like, you know you're not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You
You
not want to be
cover your
identified.
face.
You got to cover up your face.
Yeah. I don't think that's right. Now, it is allowed. They are allowed. I looked that up too because I was like, how can federal agents just cover up their faces? Like, what if like you do something wrong? I should be able to recognize who you are and be able to tell the police, hey, this is who abused me. This is what happened, and it was him. You should be able to recognize someone for a lineup. But apparently, because like they have undercover police, they're somewhat protected by some sort of something. But I was just like, that's not right.
The police's hands are kind of tied in that situation anyway. Even if they could identify them, they're federally sent out there. They're federal agents. The police have no say in this whatsoever, as far as what I've researched and what I could tell.
Yeah.
I've been fairly disgusted myself with, well, and you know, conservative media is going to report from their perspective and liberal media is going to report from their perspective. And I try to, you know, watch both to try to be like, to try to understand what everybody's saying. But I've been fairly disgusted with some news outlets that claim to be in the middle, or, you know, not identifying as conservative or liberal, or, you know, we just say the truth, you know, but they're not talking about this. Like, I'm not there, right? So I don't know exactly what the truth is, but something is going on. Just today, we have some friends that text us that are downtown Chicago because there's a protest. And they think that there's about 100,000 people there right now. And they said it's growing by the minute. So, like, and I understand there's things going on around the country, but I think something big is going on in Chicago. Whether everything that we're seeing is accurate or not, something is happening. That means if you are a balanced news media, channel, you should be reporting on it, right? You should be providing information. And to me, the fact that they're silent about it is also suspicious.
Is disturbing. Another thing that really was disturbing to me is when one of my friends went downtown to be at the protest and to kind of see about it, they sent videos, right? So we were watching it. We were like, what is going on? And we looked, and behind the military lines, there was a Republican politician just back there in the military lines. And I was like, why is he back there? And I just think that creates a lot more polarization. It's just like, why can you be behind military lines? Like, what gives you permission? It just makes it feel like this person was Benny Johnson, right? And it's like, so you're on the side of the military, and you're creating it to be this.
It violently
it's not like
enhances
this is
sides.
just these federal agents that are like, oh, well, we're just here to get criminals and immigrants. It's like there's a political agenda. There's a lot going on. It's just like it's not right. The second, are we okay to play like the second video?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to say.
I thought this video was really good because someone explaining like crime and how crime has worked in America and what has been the solution to crimes. And I thought it was really good.
And how people that are affected by it, or people that are in the mix, basically minorities, have been talking about this for years and years. Like, since basically he talks about how people have been talking about it in hip hop, and they've been kind of preaching about it and trying to make people aware and trying to make sure people are woke and
Yeah, like this isn't news.
well, people are making it sound like, look at this look what's happening now, when now the truth is, no, it's been there the whole time. You just haven't been directly affected by it.
You haven't been forced to see it, right?
Right. You've been privileged to turn a blind eye.
Okay, so there's this man talking about his grandma who lives in Inglewood, right? Which I don't know if anyone knows where Chicago is, but
Where Inglewood is in
Rappers
Chicago.
are smarter than economists, and I'm about to use my grandmother to prove it. This is going to be social media excellence. I want some type of award after this video. This is my grandmother. Her name is Annie Pearl. They call her Hattie because she wears a lot of hats. She lives in the Inglewood neighborhood in Chicago, historically known as one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the city. You know how they rap about O-Block? Where she lives is about 0.5 miles away from there. When I talked to her this morning about what Donald Trump is doing, militarizing the police in these cities, having the FBI and the DA and all these other federal level officers running around in these cities, she said to me, but Joshua, if there are more police with more guns, won't the crime stop? Think about her living her entire life in Inglewood. When she walks out of her front door, she does not fear some white cop with a gun. She fears these little dudes running around in her neighborhood, shooting at stuff, selling drugs, trying to rob her house. I've been in her house when they try to break in. If you do not understand why she thinks this way, why she would think more cops would equal more safety, then you cannot talk to her about a solution in a way that will land with her, because you don't understand her life. You also need to understand that she wants the crime to be gone worse than you. Worse than you, white policy wonk who lives in DC and reads the New York Times every day. Worse than you, liberal white man, poli-sci major who went to George Washington, has never seen the inside of a public school. She wants it worse than you. The only issue with her thinking is that the data don't back it up. The real world consequence of adding more police in her neighborhoods does not add more safety.
So
We have
far.
62 years of data that have already answered this question for us, coming from the National Policing Institute and others, that say that the overall effect of militarizing the police and adding more police, the overall effect of police size on crime is so small that it barely meets measurable statistical significance. Meanwhile, they use your tax dollars to round up people and put them in jails that you pay for. And because those jails aren't doing any rehabbing, those people come out and repeat offend in your neighborhoods. And you get a shit ROI, return on investment. The only person getting a good return on investment is the person who owns the prisons. Why? You know why? Because the only thing that has actually been proven to stop crime is focusing on the economic determinants of crime, the economic conditions that create crime. And hip hop has been screaming this at you for years.
For years.
'Cause without this drug, that's once. We still trying to keep mom smiling when the teeth stop showing in the... That's twice, but you ain't hear it. My sneak start leaning and my heat stop working and my heat start working. I'ma rob me a person. Stop right there. Those are the economic determinants of crime. If my sneak start leaning and my heat stop working, then my heat start working, I'ma rob me a person. I just saved you a 20-minute read on a 10-year study about the economic determinants of crime from the World Economic Forum. That's the summary. Hip hop just summarized it in 14 seconds. So tell me, the same president that wants to put military on the street just passed a bill that takes away health care from 17 million Americans. What do you think that that'll do to crime? It takes food assistance from 10 million Americans. What do you think that that'll do to crime? It takes healthcare away from children. It raises taxes on the poor. What do you think that that'll do to crime? Were you listening? Pay attention to hip hop. It'll tell you everything you need to know.
Okay, so I thought that was really interesting because of the history that we have with the war on drugs, right? I feel like if the war on drugs was happening right now, everyone would react in the exact same way. Okay, it sounds like
People can look back at the documentaries and say, "Oh, that was terrible."
Yeah, like, oh, I can see how the war on drugs was really a war on black and brown people and how that disrupted the communities and that took the fathers away from their children, and that has effects even till today, right? But like, right from the outside, if you're tone deaf, you could think like, oh, well, don't these black people want these drugs out of their houses? Don't they want the crime out of their streets? But it's like, no, the simple goal of that was to get more people in prison so we could have more money and feed the system.
More free labor, the 13th Amendment. I mean, it's all connected, right? Whenever he was talking, my mind immediately went back to that song. It's an older hip hop song. Did I say hip hop? I can't.
It's getting worse.
It's getting worse and worse. Hip hop song. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge.
Trying not to lose my head.
Trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. And that's what he's talking about in that song. How, like, we are out here trying to survive, trying to be alive, and crime is the only way we can see to survive. It pushes us to that point.
And it makes me mad because it's like, stop trying to act like you're trying to fix the problem. You're not trying to fix the problem.
And what kind of system was set up in the first place to create an environment where they have to come here to find any kind of economic success?
It's not like America hasn't created famines before.
And
it's not like we've never funded two sides of a war to get our own way.
Right. And so even though we can say hip hop, the KRS-One talks about how it goes back to the ancient, and we talk about, well, it doesn't go back far enough, in our opinion. But there is so much you can learn from conscious hip hop.
Yeah,
and one of those things is, exactly. And one of those things is, like he said, just the fact that a lot of minorities, especially African Americans, but a lot of minorities have been saying these things and understanding these things for years and years and years. And the awakening that's happening now amongst some Americans that would identify as white is like, you're seeing it. You're finally seeing it.
COVID
you can't avoid it.
They were like, we could be controlled? Someone might be controlling us? Someone might be trying to see if we'll all put on masks at the same time?
Someone might not be out for our best good? That's a possibility.
Like, and minorities have been like, y'all, what?
Just found that. And
I think the interesting connection between what's happening in Chicago and this is what he brought out about how bringing in a bunch of police has never fixed the issue so far.
Putting
it hasn't done that
more
yet.
people in jail doesn't help. And I know we've all heard the stories about people getting deported, and they're not getting deported back where they came from. They're getting deported to prisons in random spots.
Like, yeah. Was that you telling me about
El Salvador and stuff?
The girl that was gonna graduate this year? Who was telling me about that? Gigi, maybe? There was a girl, it was Gigi. She lived in Chicago too, and she was talking about a girl from there she was gonna graduate, and they deported her and her mother to a country in South America, Colombia, I think, where they're not even from. And
it's tomfoolery.
Like, what?
Yeah, the story was like her classmates banded together and like her teachers, and they like are gonna give her a virtual graduation diploma, blah blah blah. But like, it just seems like it's not happening the right way at all.
What's not happening the right way?
It seems like I know what they said. They set out to find criminals, right? But that's not what's happening anymore.
And it wasn't.
I don't have a problem.
I feel like that.
That's not what was in their
that was their
hearts.
agenda. I do not. Feel
And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, and maybe some of the people that were hired did originally want that. I want to go find some criminals, no problem. But I don't think that the people who started this ever wanted that.
No.
And we can go off into like
the fact that we
like
would be
racism.
Tricked.
And we can go off into racism immediately and just how, well, they just hate brown people and they just want them out of this country. And I think there's truth to that, and there's some people like that. But I think we also have to look for the bigger plan. That's
absolutely.
Like, what's going, and that's what I've been asking myself about ICE too. What's the bigger story? Like, how are they?
Yeah, how is this playing out? What's the actual game? What's the end goal of the game?
Exactly.
Being played.
Exactly. Yes. And I do think it's money. I do. Money. I think, having control power, I think it's all those things. But I'm also wondering if it's part of a plan to just drive a deeper wedge between the people in this country.
Well, because ultimately that's what ultimate control looks like.
Is if you're able to divide people,
right.
You're able to control them, right? And so I keep thinking about that and wondering like how can And I know God can do miracles, and I believe he can heal people that want to be. But it's almost like, how can we heal this rift? Like, you got people on one side that are seeing their neighbors or friends or family like dragged out, hit, abused, and they're like, this is evil. And people on the other side saying, good.
Literally,
it's so hard to respect that.
I've seen them like putting thumbs up on people getting beat up. Like, okay, even if you do agree with it, don't put a thumbs up.
Like, this isn't a good, this is...
What makes me so angry is that historically and even right now, like, we're seeing it. People are doing it, and I'm not saying they're saying, I'm a Christian, I'm going to go beat someone up. But they're doing it under the auspices of a religion that they think is so righteous and so holy and it's so right. Yes, and that, like, they're creating a religion out of it. And, like, Christianity was used, of course, you know, to manipulate slaves and create a...
false Christianity. And still is.
Right, false Christianity. They're an image of like a white Jesus and you know, ripping pages out of the Bible to make them feel like, or to make them believe that
taking the Exodus out.
Exactly. And I feel like even right now they're using kind of the same thing. They're doing it in a different way. They're saying it differently because everyone knows about that right now, but they're using the same kind of imagery and premises to make people believe that it's done in a righteous kind of way and with the right agenda and with the right intentions and you know, this is what Christ would have wanted.
Like, no, he wouldn't have.
And it amazes me because the serpent has always worked through imagery. When he came to Eve, he said, you shall not surely die. When this is he painted her a whole picture. When you eat the fruit, you're going to be as gods, you're going to know good and evil. He showed her a picture and then she fell for it. And so that's why I'm like also so wary of like social media, because part of me is like, and I think this part is right. I think both are right. Part of me is like so glad for social media because I think that's part of the only way we know what all is actually going on in Chicago. Like aside from like, obviously you have a connection because you live there, you have friends that are down there. But like, for example, me up here in Indiana, like what do I know about that? Like I don't see it. And aside from like what's popping on my page, that's what made me start being like, because I feel like major news outlets like aren't reporting on it like that.
Literally, our friends are at a protest right now, sending us pictures and videos. They said there's hundreds of thousands of people protesting.
Bro, the gangs in Chicago, they said, get out, ICE. And they were over. ICE should not have gone here. They weren't smart. And I'm not laughing, really. I'm not smart. I should have told this story. ICE was down over in some of the rougher neighborhoods in Chicago, and people just started shooting at him. Nobody got shot, really, but they did run really fast away.
The ICE agents ran away.
And they did tell them,
I guess
go away from our
turn to
neighborhood.
run at that point.
Go away from our neighborhood. And it's like,
and probably some of the agents are being manipulated and being used, you know? Like,
yeah.
I wonder how many of them are being forced to do it. I wonder how many of them are actually, like, I wonder if sometimes I wonder, like, who they actually have out there, if they're criminals themselves, and they promise them all this money, or they promise them a pardon to get out there and get all these other people. Like, the system is so skewed that I wouldn't put it past them. And I'm not saying that for sure. I'm not saying that
watching these people, they don't look like professional anybody's. They look like
the way they're so aggressive and like
mobsters. Like, I'm just watching them like handle people, and I'm like, these are literal, actual mobsters.
Yeah, it's messed up. And what I was trying to say about the imagery was, who knows what like how can we translate the images that we're seeing, you know? I'm thankful that we're seeing it because like social media has been an outlet for us, but also social media creates a certain imagery in your mind that you don't want to get off into that either. So with what's going in Chicago, it's actually so disturbing that it wants to force you to just hate everybody on the right. Because if you would support this, you've got to be evil. And obviously, you know, it goes both ways. What I'm saying is, it feels like to me, and I'm sure there's even a bigger plan that somebody like with better prophetic understanding could see. But what I'm seeing right now is just like the polarization that it's forcing, like, and it's so
I feel
deep.
that feeling because I'm like, why would you support this grandmother being zip tied? You're actually insane. You know what I mean? And I even asked somebody. I knew somebody that was super Republican, and I was like, I was not confrontational. I was very good. I just said, hey, what's your opinion on why ICE is in Chicago? And they're like, oh yeah, it should. We just need to catch a few more criminals. And I was like, I don't like you.
They're not even
I
there.
don't
They
like
don't
you.
know.
And I was just
And
like,
as soon as it
how
gets
do you
close
work
to
through
home,
this?
people,
Yes.
I've seen people flip like this. They're all pro-Trump and pro this and pro, anti-immigration. Did I say that right? Anyway, and then all of a sudden they start coming for them. Thought, oh, never mind. What I meant to say was,
It happened.
oh yeah, I've seen it happen
It's like,
several times.
if it can happen to one person, it can happen to you. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm saying,
real.
and I think it's important that we note that, like, we're not reporters or even researchers like that. We try to keep up to date. We try to, like, look up facts and
We're not
things.
trying to Candace Owens out here with all your statistics.
And all the
every
data
fact.
and research. Like, we're not, we don't have a lot of experience with that. But we did feel like, we have to say something because it's right here in our faces, especially Payton, and she shares it with us, and it feels disturbing. And I would hate for somebody to look back at that time and we didn't use what was in our power to speak against it. Somebody makes a documentary about the war on Latinos or whatever, and we had just sat by. Like, I think about that all the time. I think about what were the rest of the Americans doing when the war on drugs was happening,
Like, were they just like, oh, well, I guess get all the druggies, say no to drugs. Like, what?
Yeah. And I would hate to have not said something, and I think it's our calling and our duty to say, hey, look, this looks like trouble.
So, like, basically, if we're saying anything at all, it would be to say, like, go look, go check what is going on, say something.
Be
and
aware.
I think Chicago's doing a really good job of doing that because they're actually doing, I don't know if you've ever been to any sort of, like, the big rallies before, but they do training there. Like,
call and response.
Yes, call and response. So I saw them doing some of that, like, please record everything you see, narrate what you see, and so there's
the whole crowd repeats those rules.
There's a lot of people just walking around with their cameras, and you could just see it all online. So, yep, for
and
sure.
Everyone can, and people on the right or whatever can argue all day. Well, it's necessary for blah 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 and the city that. You know what? Okay, I'm sure you can make some point and argue in some form to make it, plausible. But in the form in which it's being conducted, nah.
Yes.
Never. Never. It's never right to treat humanity in any form, in any circumstance, how people are being treated and in the way it's being brought about. Like, it's just not right, period. And anyone that has started excusing that or is fine with it has become calloused.
And you're just on a bad path. Like, if you think, like, oh, yeah, well, this is necessary means, like, first of all, history. Obviously, we're talking specifically about, like, the war on drugs. And
apparently, you've never been on the right side of history. If you know history and you're still like, oh, it's fine. You've always been on the side of the oppressor. If you can say that.
Because, like, how do you have the privilege to just be like, oh, yeah, go get
I'm not
them.
saying the right side is being oppressed or the oppressor. I wasn't saying being on the right side like that. Just to clarify.
Yeah.
So this video may seem like somewhat of a departure from what we normally record, but we just felt like, we kind of need to say something. This is happening right in our neighborhoods. We're seeing it and we're concerned. And like Payton said, I think and feel that people are out there on the streets trying to help people be educated and know you don't have to answer this. You don't like, there's good interaction happening. And like I said, we are not physically there, but it is very close to us. And we felt like we need to say something. This bothers us. Yes. We don't want to be quiet about it. Since we have a platform, whatever size it may be, we felt like we're going to just say something. We're going to speak out. We're going to mention that we don't think it's right. And we don't think it's right that people that claim to be in the middle don't report on it, for 2. And for 3, we feel we feel so strongly we feel the strength of these spirits that want to polarize us. And I know you already said, but I just feel myself just being pulled. Like it takes a constant fight every day to refuse to just take a side wholesale and just and just try to hold the truth and know that truth doesn't take a side.
Yeah.
Truth,
full disclosure.
Truth, I'm being honest.
Because it's like, well, I want to judge this, that, and the other. Like, this is not right. But how do I maintain my stance and at the same time not
cut off my brother, my human brother? Like, if there's any honesty,
Like, if I do that, I'm just as
the
bad.
same as what people that are
supporting
it going. And I like, if there's any honesty in him, I have to. The thing is, God hath put eternity in their hearts. You know, he has placed, God is in everyone. There's an expression of him in every person. And if there's any honesty in that person, any seeking for truth in them, then I have to reach out. I have a responsibility to reach out and identify that truth and latch onto it.
Yeah.
And that's the fight we're in.
And I feel like the ultimate goal throughout life is to acknowledge truth wherever you see it.
And that is becoming more and more of a challenge every day. But that's our Christian duty. And we are sworn to do it. Thank God. So, well, that's our little video about what's been, what we've been discussing and what's been bothering us. And yeah, like Payton said, I'd just say go check it out. Go see what's going on over there and stay informed. Y'all know what time it is. Peace, love, and hair grease.